Hi everyone, this is Unlock the Power of Data using Scorebuddy BI for comprehensive QA insights. And before I actually hand over to our host today, I have a bit of a housekeeping to do. So first of all, if you're listening to me, then it means your audio is connected, and that's just fine. If you cannot hear me, please check your volume settings. It could be something wrong with it. And also, sometimes we have problems with our connections. So if it's the case for you today, you can always dial in via phone. Here's the information and yes, the access code and audio pin. Second, today we're going to have a really interesting discussion about how to use data in your quality assurance contact center. So, and we will have time for a Q&A in the end of the session. But if any questions pop up in your mind during the presentation, you can go to the question poll and enter your question, and we'll read it afterwards, okay? And last but not least, this session is being recorded, so if someone from your company should be here but they couldn't for some reason, don't worry. Just make sure to register. Just make sure they are registered so they can receive the recording and the presentation later. Okay, so let's start. Today we are talking about the challenges of managing unstructured QA data, how to generate actionable insights for your QA contact center, and then we're going to introduce to you Scorebuddy BI or business intelligence. Then we're going to have room for questions and answers. So we're going to have a poll now, and the question is, how do you use data collected from your QA programs? So I'm sharing the poll. I'm launching the poll now, and it's launched. Just gonna give you some time to answer it. And we have some different options, but you can click whatever feels best. This is not just one answer. This is a multiple answer question. Okay, just giving you some seconds. And I'm closing in 5 seconds, okay? Okay, now I'm going to share the results. These are the results. So we have 100% of views using reporting, using the data to report to the executive team. And then the second best voted, we have a tie in taking coaching decisions and identifying process. And we have also fair share of views scheduling development plans with it. Okay, thanks for your inputs. Now we're gonna continue our presentation.
Thank you, Mariana. So I see in the poll answers, the 100% of you that have said they would like to share, they are sharing results with the exec team. I think you're going to be very interested by the end of this webinar. So hold on here. It's and wait for Harry's demo. You'll see stuff that's really important. Before we start talking about this exciting new product, Scorebuddy BI, I'd like to give some background on Scorebuddy just in case some of you are not familiar or not fully aware of what we do. So first of all, I assume everybody here is aware of what quality means in contact center, but if some of you don't, what quality QA means is auditing conversation that took place between agent and customers to make sure that agents are complying with regulatory guidelines, compliance, business compliance process, product knowledge, best customer experience, etc. So what Scorebuddy does in the QA is we enable QA managers to enforce a best governance and visibility in their process. If you look at early stage QA program, which often rely on spreadsheets or in-house tools, it is very difficult to ensure that the score are repeatable, the scoring mechanism is the same for all employees, and that the results are shared as soon as possible. With Scorebuddy QA, we bring that governance across the board. We enforce the repeatability, the use of the right criteria for the right teams, and we make those results available to all the stakeholders, from agent to team lead to QA managers, as soon as they are available. Second thing we bring is we make that QA process efficient and effective. Efficient, to understand why efficiency is important, you have to imagine that you have a team of 20, 50, 100, 200 QA evaluators evaluating, let's say, 2,000 agents. All these evaluators need to have need to know what they're going to work on when they get up in the morning and arrive to work. They have to know what work they have to do next and do it properly in time, etc. Scorebuddy automates those workflows so that you can really make sure everybody knows what they have to do in the morning and do it quick. Effective because you can decide either to do random samples and do a total random QA program, but many times you will also have a deep dive on selected type of cases where you want to filter your interactions or your agents on maybe type of calls, type of exchange, etc. And all that filter can use also the AI engine of Scorebuddy QA. So that's how we make that process more effective. One more thing we bring is a very, very good engagement with agents. And this is important because agents are the key of that program. It's not the managers, it's not us, the vendors, it's not even the team lead. The agent is the core of this. And one of the top challenge our customers have is to retain these agents. Agents move and go to work for somebody else anytime they want. And the challenge of QA is to make those agents work better, develop themselves, create better outputs, and stay. And for that, they need to engage with that QA process. And we believe we do a very good job at that. The last benefit, but not the least, is we adapt to very complex org structures. Many of our customers are clients with multiple BPOs, some internal, some external, some BPOs have multiple clients, and we have all sorts of these clients that have to manage this complex org structure, trying to unify a QA process across different teams, different skills, different language sometimes, and different QA criteria. So we think we do a great job at that as well. So that's it for Scorebuddy, just a little overview of what we are. So when we talk about QA, we talk a lot about workflows and results, etc. Let's not forget the most important thing about QA is the results and the insights it provides. So QA is only worth something if we learn something from it. QA is not here to say, get rid of that agent, demote him, etc. QA is about making the organization grow in quality, in quantity, in scalability. And those data is now the core of that discussion for this webinar. Okay, so next slide, please. Thank you. Next slide again. So the challenge with that is the complexity of the data that you need to analyze. So we say QA data is great. Yeah, we all know, we all in the QA business, we know it's actually a lot of insights in that, but we know it's complicated. That data is rich and complicated because first, there's different channels, different teams that have different skills, different business units even so, and all of these elements are QA'd against different type of criteria, actually maybe different scorecards. And when you move to the diversity of scorecards, we now realize that each scorecard can have different type of sections and questions, and each question can have different type of answers. The pass-fail criteria could be very different with different scope. You could have a question that fails a section. You could have a question that fails an entire scorecard, for example, regulatory compliance. And between all this, you need to be able to calculate and compute QA score that you can act on. That's another difficulty, the diversity of granular data. Another aspect of richness of the data is, for example, it's not good enough to fail a question. It's important to track the causes for which that question fails. And is that cause recurring across agents or for one agent across teams? All this needs to be tracked. And last but not the least, when an evaluator scores an interaction on an agent, the score is only one part of the outcome of that. The biggest outcome is the feedback they give to the agent. And again, this creates more richer data that can lead to detecting more coaching opportunities, etc. So it's complicated data. It's hard to analyze. Next slide, please, Mariana. So to report on that, it's complicated to actually aggregate all this. We have many metrics, many dimensions. Metrics would be, for example, average score, number of scores, a score under average, score above average, under target, above target, etc. Dimension could be agent, teams, groups, etc. Supervisors, QA evaluators, and you have to aggregate all this against all this. This is the first level of complexity. The second level of complexity is the segregation you need to bring to that data. When I say segregation, I'm saying what data can be viewed by this stakeholder and what data cannot be viewed by this stakeholder. For example, you could argue that team leads should not see the individual scores across teams, etc., etc. And certainly a BPO should not see the score of another BPO, or a client shouldn't see the score of another client for the same BPO. So all this you need to bring data separation at a very deep level and at a reporting level. Third challenge, that's very common in reporting and is true as well in QA. Every user needs different type of reports. If you're a team lead, a QA manager, a QA evaluator, an agent, etc., you will not want to see the same type of stuff. You will not be interested in the same trends, etc. And the last thing is you need to be able to navigate that report structure. Report always starts at the top level and then brings you down to more detailed level. You need to be able to go to a very detailed level very quickly, either for validation or for action purpose. Okay, next slide, please. So when you have that complexity of data and that challenge of report, how do you manage to actually generate insights that you can act on? That's a question everybody always has in the industry. Everybody has their own answer. And our answer is that one. So first of all, to be actionable, any insights, any reports needs to be clear and meaningful. So clear means you understand what metrics are there. It's self-explanatory. You see the report, you understand what is measured, you understand what are the dimensions against which it's aggregated, which team it is, etc. You also understand the scope of your data. You know what filters have been applied or not. You know what date range to make it simple, but you could have many more filters, filtered by scorecard and groups and teams, etc. You need to see that. It needs to be clear. It needs to be meaningful because the data you show has to have some business value to you, okay? There are metrics that are not interesting for some stakeholders and some of those are very interesting. You need to show the right ones. The second thing you do is we come up with a very good set of dashboards as a standard. We already had probably the best reporting suite on the market with our 72 reports, and now we came up with that new product called Scorebuddy BI that has even more reports out of the box. That's great. We're very proud of that, but we know that's not enough. We can bug up that number of reports as much as we want. The best one is the one that are really following your own business needs. And for that, you need to be able to customize your own report. We understood that, and this is one of the reasons behind Scorebuddy BI. And the last thing, but not the least, and that comes back to the poll results where basically 100% of you guys are sharing those results with your exec team and probably more of an exec team, peers and other teams, etc. Share that data. The data is only worth something if you can communicate around it so that people see what you're doing and actions are taken around what you're finding. So you might be able to share with your peers, your teams, and C-level. When you share with C-level, it has to look good. We all know how many hours we spend on PowerPoints before sharing a slide with our exec level. Well, that's true in QA as well, okay? And you have to share the right data, not too much, not too less. If you show too much, people won't read your data. If you show not enough data, they won't believe it. So you have to be able to dose what it is that you're sharing and make it in a nice way. Okay, next slide, please. So now we're arriving to the nuts and bolts of the webinar where we introduce how we answer to these, how we think we answer really well to that needs. Okay, so we're launching a new product called Scorebuddy BI, and what this product does, it brings a number of benefits. So the first thing, it brings a lot of out-of-the-box reports. So you'll have a lot of, I'm not going to count them. You're going to see them by yourself when you try it. There's a lot of stuff in there from many teams, different event date, etc., etc. Second benefit is we think we've implemented a very intuitive navigation and a very intuitive filtering. That is so important when you start navigating your report and slice and dice your data in a way that you want. Being able to navigate from a date range to another one, to a drill down level, etc. This is really, really important. Third benefit, our exports are beautiful. I know it's hard to fall in love with your own graphs, but when you export as a PDF those things, you'll see it really looks good. Wait for the demo from Harry, you'll see what I mean. It's important. It has to look good to be shared with C-level, and those things look very good. They're also very structured. You can also share in an Excel mode and have every report on a different tab. We really make that sharing much, much, much easier. And the last benefit is not the least, is you can create any reports you want, anything you'd like, based on any data elements that we provide to you. And those reports and those dashboards can be customized by yourself for your own business. And this is a big part of the demo that Harry is going to walk you through, is how this actually happens. Next slide, please. So now we are on track to start the demo. So let me introduce you to my colleague, Harry McIntyre. So Harry is our product owner. His job in Scorebuddy is to ingest all the strategic direction that we decide at the exec level, and I encapsulate in my own roadmap as product director, and basically formulate that into the product requirement that can be implemented by our dev team. So Harry is constantly between customers and development, trying to make our best product the fastest and the best as possible. So Harry, over to you now, if you'd like to start.
Fantastic, thank you, Emmanuel. Hi everyone, so glad you could join us today. So look, in the demo, we'll have a look at some of the functionality that we're providing here that will address some of those challenges that Emmanuel has just mentioned. And as he's just mentioned, sort of one of the primary challenges which we sought to overcome with Scorebuddy BI was that of making sharing data more seamless. So as Emmanuel said, contact center platforms like Scorebuddy collect huge volumes of data that potentially provide huge value to the organization. But there are those two sort of major hurdles. The first one being sifting those huge volumes of data and finding the insights which will help the business and specific areas of the business. And the second one is making that data available to the people within the business who need to see and react to it. So quality data is valuable to a number of areas of your business. And this is another challenge. It's valuable to the training team, to the frontline manager, but it's only one of a whole load of different business insights that are going to be sent to them. They're going to be competing for their attention. And on top of that, you have the challenge that what the quality data that the training coordinator and the team manager and the frontline manager and all these different personas, the quality data that they're interested in is wildly different often. There's different aspects of that data that are relevant to them and that they can actually take actions from. So the data has to be that we share with them has to be relevant. It has to be easy to access, and as Emmanuel alluded to, it has to be easy to consume as well. So Scorebuddy BI addresses these challenges in a number of different ways. And Mariana, if you could go ahead and play our first demo video.
So Scorebuddy BI addresses these two challenges, that of sifting and sharing data, in a number of ways. Dashboards are built with given roles like quality analysts, training coordinators, compliance managers, team leads in mind. And that means that the collections of data which enable them in their work are placed front and center with relevant contextual data also being available within the one view. The drill down functionality ensures that users can strategically expand on the data that they're seeing, stopping them from being overwhelmed by data points and allowing them to pinpoint and extract actually meaningful insights. A training coordinator, for example, can take the bottom 20% of performance data, or even just performance that falls below a certain targeted level, and then they can drill into the root cause information for that data in order to properly refine the development plans that they're looking to put into place. So on top of that, savable filters also ensure that users can easily transform the data that's in view to see how it relates to different areas that they are interested in. So, for example, a team lead who is currently looking after 2 teams simultaneously, they can save filters appropriate to those teams, maybe even further specific agents or scorecards, and they can filter their view of the same data with a simple click. Another key aspect of sharing this data is, of course, those who aren't on the platform or are very infrequent users of the platform. It's hard to drive them to log in to a system that they maybe only use one day a month. So high quality exports to PDF or Excel formats are available, which allow the sorted and filtered views of data to be easily moved off the platform. This reduces the friction with which roles that sort of rarely intersect with quality can access the data that your teams capture. A view that contains just the correct level and breadth of information, importantly, without having to export and collate and create that separate view, can be created by someone like a QA manager and shared among stakeholders via email or instant messaging. So what's more, these exports can in fact be scheduled to be delivered automatically at given intervals to stakeholders via email, allowing them to absorb that data without having to log on to the platform, and obviously saving those QA managers time during those busy reporting periods where the data that they need the business to see can automatically be sent out in a filtered, sorted way, which is available then immediately and off platform.
Okay, now back to you, Harry.
Thank you, Mariana. Yes, that's what we the functionality that we have in Scorebuddy BI that addresses those needs of sharing the data, making the data easily sort of consumable and absorbable and easy to transform within the framework to be be sort of relevant and easily manipulated by the end user where they have that consideration. The other side of the coin is the report creation, and again, sort of as Emmanuel alluded to, quality is as diverse as the different businesses and sectors who perform. It's something that we see with our own sort of breadth of clientele. It's a process whose QA is a process whose aim is evaluation, control, and improvement. Naturally, the specific way in which these aims are met within any one organization is going to inherit from the nature and the priorities of the sector they're in, and of course of the actual business itself. The end point is that the way in which data is captured and the focus of reporting is, we've seen, is as diverse as the different clients that we serve. So today, Scorebuddy's versatile sort of scorecard system allows evaluation and data capture at a level of diversity that supports those very specific aims. And now with Scorebuddy BI, this sort of brings our reporting offering up a gear so that it can even better satisfy the diverse reporting needs of our clients. And Mariana, back over to you if you'd like to play that second video demo just to demonstrate that.
Scorebuddy BI allows a user to create folders of different dashboard views featuring fully customizable reports that serve the needs of different areas of the organization. So built-in templates allow the full gamut of Scorebuddy data points to be presented to the QA manager or the data analyst to work with without the need for data loading or object configuration. The dossier chapter page structure of the reports allows a structured hierarchy to be created. Entire folders of dashboards can be, for example, targeted at a particular role or a section of the business. And Scorebuddy's existing data visibility permission functions seamlessly migrate into Scorebuddy BI, meaning that the data that is then returned to the user in those reports is always that which it is appropriate for that user to see. So you could create a dashboard for your customer success, targeted at your customer success teams, for example. And that could be shared with both in-house and outsourced teams. The framework of the reports would remain identical to both the in-house and the outsourcer, but the actual data that populates the dashboards and is available in the reports would only be that which was appropriate for your in-house or outsourced teams to see. So I'll pop back into the dossier quickly, the template quickly. Oh, sorry, almost a slip up or two on a webinar, the pressure of nerves. Okay. So yes, a glossary of the Scorebuddy data, which you can see there is a lot of, has been created and made available. But we've also put thought into how the data is labeled, and I'm hoping that those users of Scorebuddy present today who are already using the platform are looking at this and going, I recognize what these things are referring to. So yeah, we've really tried to make this as easy as a BI tool, a sophisticated BI tool can be. So let me just pop back into our template, and I'll show you how easy it is just to get a basic report up and running. So it's as simple as drag and drop in most cases. So we drag in our group, our sort of dimension for our data, and we drag in the metric that we would like to see. So in this case, the score percentage. But multiple metrics can also be dropped into the same table. So we can, alongside our score, have other relevant data points, such as the number of scores, which obviously helps contextualize the data that we're seeing. We've a slightly more in-depth sort of editor here where we can move around the position of columns and so on and so forth. But we can really build something that speaks to the needs of different roles, different sectors within your business. You can create something that really serves valuable insights to them. And as we've said, there's no need to concern ourselves when we're building these with the way that data is shown or hidden to different sort of branches or areas of the organization. We can just build the correct framework for the reports and concentrate on them being relevant and absorbable. And Scorebuddy's data permissions that are a key part of the Scorebuddy QA platform are going to migrate in to Scorebuddy BI and automatically ensure that the data that our users are seeing in the reports is the correct stuff, which takes a huge layer of complexity out of the sort of working with a business intelligence tool. There's so much we can do with this platform in terms of the different ways we can visualize the data between bar graphs and pie charts, etc., etc. And we've also seen in the demo that we can add reactive elements that will filter the data or drill down into the data. And everything that you've seen here in this demo is something that you can create. We haven't used any sort of special tools to build these particular reports. These are all something including the reactive elements, the filters. These are all something that as a Scorebuddy BI power user and report creator, you would be able to achieve yourself. And I'm sure some of you will be able to achieve a great deal more.
And now we have a quick video from one of our customers. Jasmine from Deriv has been using Scorebuddy BI, and she's giving us her feedback on it, and we decided to share it with you. So yeah, we're gonna disappear again for a while, just so we can focus on her.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Laws, and I'm the Customer Support, Quality Assurance, and Training Manager at Deriv. We are a customer-focused fintech company dedicated to offering accessible trading solutions to people all over the world. There are two things that I can say I like the most about Scorebuddy BI. Number one is for sure the level of flexibility in mix and matching different metrics when generating reports that allow me to cater to our department specific needs and not miss out any of the details that we used to have in the past when we need to look at different metrics in different reports. Number two is the automated reporting feature, which allows me to improve quality assurance visibility across different levels of the organization.
And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Jasmine for giving us this feedback. It's very important to us. And now we are ready for the Q&A. So some questions already popped up. If you have more questions, you can just post while we are responding this first questions. So first one, do I need my BI team to develop reports for us?
Okay, I'll take this one. So the great news is you don't. You can start building reports that would be to the level or above the level that normally BI team generate when they have the time. You can now do that on your own as a power user of this Scorebuddy BI solution. So the great news is you're gaining independence of your BI team if you need it, and you have full flexibility to use the solution when you want and as you want.
Okay, now second question is, can I share reports with anyone in my organization?
I'll take that one. Yes, so the report export that we saw to Excel or PDF can then, be delivered through email, a shared space, or a Teams or a Slack-like program. So you can go out to colleagues, peers, management via that. The scheduling feature that we saw where a sort of interval for particular reports going to particular individuals via email is currently those emails that you're sending to have to be users on the Scorebuddy platform and with an analytics permission, but one way or the other, the data is always able to be moved off and shared outside of throughout rather the whole business.
Okay. Now, third question: will a team lead see data from another team? So I guess
I'll take this one. So I think we've mentioned this early on, but let's repeat that again. It's important. The data segregation that already exists in Scorebuddy and that isolates stakeholders from seeing data from each other as should be enforced, that is totally implemented in Scorebuddy BI. So you will not have people sharing data when they shouldn't be. That's really, we're religious on that, and we're doing a good job at that. So the answer is no, the data is segregated.
Okay. Can I bring data from other sources?
I'll take that one. Not currently. We have a huge interest in making more and more and more data points available within Scorebuddy BI. That is, of course, of huge interest to us. As and when that begins to be roadmapped, the details will be confirmed.
Okay. Okay. Next question, is Scorebuddy BI included free of charge with Scorebuddy?
I'll take this one. This is the question about money. No, it's not free of charge. Scorebuddy BI is an add-on package. So any Scorebuddy customer can purchase it as an add-on to their legacy package of any type. Whatever package you are on today, you can purchase that add-on. Just contact your account manager to understand the conditions, etc. We also modifying our enterprise package, which will include Scorebuddy BI in it. So that will be the new enterprise package 2023. Okay.
Okay, and I think we have one last question. So when is Scorebuddy BI available?
that one to close. So Scorebuddy BI is officially launched next month, so September 2023.
Okay. Yeah, so that's it. If anyone has any other questions, you can ask, and I will direct to Emmanuel and Harry later, but our Q&A time is over. I'd like to thank first Emmanuel and Harry for this presentation, for taking the time to talk to us about Scorebuddy BI and about its benefits. Also, thanks Jasmine from Deriv that has kindly given us her testimonial about how she's been receiving Scorebuddy BI in the company. And also thanks to you, the attendees that take your time to talk to us and to hear what we had to say about Scorebuddy BI. And thanks so much. After the end of this webinar, you will receive a quick survey. Please, if you can respond to that survey, it's really important for us to understand how you feel about this webinar and have your feedback on it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.